There we go. Otherwise, I may forget later. And lots of people have requested a recording, which I'm very happy to do. And the reason we're having this webinar at 6, I normally have them at 7, is because I'm on another webinar at 7:30. So I wanted to make sure that I got this one done and dusted before that one started. We got some of our coaches arriving. How cool is that? Yay. I'm just going to give people 1 or 2 more minutes because I know it's quite sort of like over dinner time for some mums, and I'm sure some of them are just kind of getting themselves sorted. Shelley and Celeste, hello.
No, I can't hear.
You can't hear. Okay, well, keep trying, Patsy. Hello, Sandy. All the way from Joburg, yay.
Oh, wonderful to see you. Hello, everyone.
No, nice to see you too. And we've got a Shelley. Yay.
Hi.
Let's have a look. We've got some people in the chat room already. Awesome. So while we're waiting for everybody to kind of get themselves into the webinar, what I would love for you to do is to make sure you know how to operate the chat box, if you wouldn't mind. So you'll see at the bottom of your screen, if you are on your computer, and on your phone, it normally says more. Just make sure that you can get into that chat box because we're going to be using it a little bit on this webinar tonight. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. Hello, Cheryl. Let's see, lots of people not on their screens, but all good. Hello, Billy. Got some new people I've just recently met. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yay. Very nice. So just again, if you haven't heard me, hello, Celeste. Long time since I've seen you. So nice to have you.
Last year.
Yeah, Tuli, Sanisha, welcome, welcome. There's lots of people.
Thank you.
Nice to have you. So I want to make sure that we are using the chat box tonight. If you've never used it before on a webinar with me, just see if you can find it and open it up, because I am going to ask you to put some stuff in there just now, just 1 or 2 little questions, and it's going to help me quite a lot. So if you wouldn't mind making sure you know how to use that chat box. Hello, Danae, hello. Wow, nice to see you. Long time. Some lovely, lovely, lovely old faces here. Old in terms of you've been with me a long time, not old in any other way. Let me just change that. Kelly, hello from Joburg. So cool to have you.
Hello, everybody.
I'm just still people in the waiting room. I'm trying to let them in as fast as I can. So a little bit of patience, if you wouldn't mind. We will start in about, I see it's just about time to get going, but the recording is already going. Okay. Another 30 seconds and we'll get going. Shirley, yes, this is the chat box. Absolutely. That is correct. So if you don't know how to use the chat box, just go to the bottom of your screen and it usually says more, and there you open that up and it says chat box, and see if you can find it, because I'm going to ask you to put 1 or 2 little things in the chat box once we are into the webinar. And there's Cheryl with her face on the screen. Hello, Cheryl. Lovely to see you. Okay, everybody, I think I'm going to get going. And as I'm saying that, more people are arriving, so I'm just going to let them in as they arrive, but I really want to get started. And welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I know this is a sort of an odd time for me to have a webinar. Normally I have them at about 7 o'clock at night, but I'm on another webinar at 7:30, so I wanted to make sure that I got this one in because I planned it last year. And really, what I want to do with you tonight is very exciting for me because it feels to me, well, definitely in my case, my year has just started. We've just come back from, holidays and time away, and most people went back to work. Some of the schools have gone back already, and most of the schools are going back next week. So, that's what happens. Some of us take some time to get into the flow of things, and that's fine. So what I want to really do tonight is get super practical with you. And the name of the webinar tonight is Creating Your Amazing Life from the Inside Out. And I want to tell you what that means in a little while. But first of all, I want to just say to everybody, tonight is a bit of an experiment for me. I'm using air quotes there because usually we organize, we know who's coming onto the webinar, but Dee, my assistant and our admin manager, is really quite ill. And so she can't be here tonight. So I thought, well, what the heck? Let's just go for it and see what happens. And also, there's a few things that I want to do that are new tonight that I haven't done before, because a lot of you have been on multiple webinars with me. So I want to make it fresh and new for you guys as well. But for those of you that have never been on a webinar, really, it's lovely to have you here tonight. And I'm hoping that I get to see your faces at some point, if you wouldn't mind. I do like to see real people, but if you can't, I understand. It's not an obligation. It's just a request. If you can show your face, I'd really like to speak to human beings. So guys, tonight is really about talking about your dreams, your goals, and your desires. We all have them. It's such a big thing in the personal development world. And people are always asking that question. How do I get to have what I want to have? How do I get to be who I think I need to be? Why do I feel like I've never got enough, like things are not happening the way I want them to happen? How come some people seem to have it all together and I just don't do that? So in my work, and I've been doing this for a very, very long time, very, very seriously for the last 15 years, people are still hopping on as we speak. What I've discovered are really some fundamental steps. And when I talk about steps, I'm not talking about what the whole of the personal development world speaks about, and that is you do this and you get that. These are the steps. These are the right steps to take. You should be going down this journey of getting to what it is that you want to have, and just definitely you do this and you get that. That's the world of the belief system that says if you don't have what you want, it's because you got it wrong. You didn't do what most of the experts said you should do. And that's the reason where you are today, is because you haven't done the work right. I'm here to tell you a little bit of what I've discovered for myself, especially for myself. And I can only tell you what I have discovered for myself. And it's this. I've seen that what the world will have us believe is not always entirely true. And the way that we have been sort of told life works is not entirely true. I've seen something different for myself, very, very definitely. And I want to share that with you today. And what I say is going to be from my personal perspective, but it's going to be based on principles that I work with, called the 3 principles. For those of you that have never heard of these principles, I don't want you to worry about that at all. I'm going to weave it in so that at the end of this webinar, you've got an understanding of what it means when I say to you, you already have everything you could ever need right at this moment to achieve what it is you want to achieve. So, as a life coach, as a transformational life coach, when people come to see me, they either want to know how to fix something that they think is broken in them. Number one, I didn't get it right. I haven't got what I want. I wish it was different. Or they feel that they've got it right and they want to elevate to another level. They want to be better than what they are at the moment. Here's the truth of that one statement that I said there. Who you are right now is exactly who you need to be. And the idea that you should be more right now is the very thing that will keep you stuck. And once you really start to take that on for yourself, you will notice that you feel a little bit calmer. The idea that you are broken and that you should be fixed and that there's somebody that needs to give you the instruction, the advice, and the wisdom is the very thing that keeps people searching, 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 searching. I have been a seeker all of my life. I've always wanted to learn more, and I think I'll always be someone that is looking for more knowledge. And knowledge is the thing that gets stored in our storage system called our brain. That's it. But there is divine knowledge, and I'm going to use the word divine tonight because if you're on this call tonight, you were called here. You didn't just show up here for some random reason. There's something that's going on for you that nudged you to respond to the call that I made and the messages that I sent. And that's never random. There's a specific reason. So as I'm speaking to you, I'm really not sure what I'm going to say next. And that's okay for me because I know that what is going to come through me to you is given to me in real time. The wisdom that I'm speaking of, that I'm trying to explain and describe to you, is not the wisdom that I have that's in my brain, which is knowledge that's been acquired over time, the learning, the books, the teachers, the schooling, the experiences, all of those things. Those will happen anyway. You will all go through life, the timeline of life, from the time that you're born until the time that you die. Life is going to happen. I say life is going to life. Not much you can do about that. There are certain things that are so out of your control. In fact, there are so many things that are out of your control. And we spend a lot of our time wondering how we can control those external factors that we believe are the reason we are feeling inadequate, not good enough, or broken. I'm going to say that again. We as human beings spend an enormous amount of time looking outside at the world, wishing it was different, wanting it to change so we can feel better. Now, I want you just to take a moment for yourself and think about a situation in your life right now, at this very moment, that you wish was different. Just for yourself. I'm not going to ask you to share it. I want you just to get very clear on that. One situation that you wish, if it was different, you felt you would feel so much better about your life and about yourself, and maybe things would work better. And when you've got that, I just either want you to raise your hand. There's quite a lot of you, and I can't see you all on the one screen. We've got two screens. So I want you to type in the chat box, yes, if you've got a situation. I just want to see that the majority of you have got a situation. So in the chat box, if you can think of one thing that you wish was different, and if that thing was different, you might feel better, I want you to type yes in the chat box. So let's have a look. If you don't know where the chat box is and you arrived late, down at the bottom, it says more, 3 little dots. Click on that and your chat box will populate on your screen. So there we go. Yes, 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 yes. So many yeses. And this is what's happened. We are living on the planet right at this moment. It feels like there's chaos out there. Either our family, our friends, or people that we know, or the greater community. And we are constantly saying to ourselves, if only those people were different, I might feel better. And we've got it wrong. Because the truth of the matter is that regardless of what's going on out there in the external world, which you have very little control over, in fact, maybe no control over whatsoever, you can feel good. You can achieve and you can have success. Now, if this was just me with my opinion, you might feel like that's not true. But I'm hoping that I'm going to convey to you with so much conviction that I've seen that to be true for myself and for the people that have coached with me over many, many years, in fact, decades of doing this work. And a few years ago, in fact, almost 10 years ago, and it's 9 and a bit years, I absolutely changed my life, and it wasn't that bad, but it changed so dramatically for me that I had to sit up and take notice and look at what was happening inside of me that created this external environment that I feel is so amazing and so beautiful and really successful. And now let me just qualify that. That does not mean that everything in my life, should you look at it, looks like it's perfect. In the imperfection of my life, there is so much joy, and it does not matter to me anymore what people do or say or how they navigate their lives. I know that within me, I have everything I need in this moment to do what it is that I want to do. And what are those things? It's my goals and my dreams and my visions and my desires. But those are mine. And the problem is, here's the problem. We are all living in a different worldview. I see the world one way and you see it a different way. And there are 25 people on here tonight that also see the world in an entirely different way to you. Now, that doesn't make them wrong. And it doesn't make them right. It just makes them who they are. Same for you. And so we go into this kind of scaring ourselves with the way we're thinking about the world, hoping that that external world will be better, because my goodness, when it is, surely then I'll achieve my goal. Surely then all my dreams and desires will be manifested. This whole thing of attraction. In the work that I do, I hardly use the word attraction, because you are not attracting anything. There is an abundance that exists in this world all the time. And the only reason you are not experiencing it is because you have cut yourself off of it in a certain way. And what I mean by that is you have not recognized for yourself a couple of things. Number one, you are already exactly who you need to be right at this moment to get what it is that you desire. And I'm going to qualify that a little bit later. Number two, the only reason you get stuck about what it is that should change, what it is that's wrong, what it is that should be better, is through one element and one element only. It's the way that you think about life in your reality. And the last point of that, there is this consciousness. There is this unbelievable, and I'm going to use the word again, divine intelligence. That same intelligence that if you look out the window is creating a sunset, or the planet to move so that the sun looks like it's setting. That same divine energy that is making the tides go in and out, that healed the cut on your hand, that is doing everything, that everything has started from. If you look around the room where you are sitting, every single element that you're looking at, the chair you're sitting on, the computer or the phone that you're using, was created, and I use that word in the title of this webinar. It was created from somebody tapping into this divine intelligence that we are going to talk about a little bit more tonight. There's not a thing that you can look at around your room or anything that you do that did not come from that divine intelligence. And so when we think that we are not good enough, that we don't have what we need, we start to exclude ourselves from what this divine intelligence is constantly trying to show us. It's the greatest gig of all time. The fact that you have already inside of you, that you were born with a magnificence and a purpose, and that's the reason you are here. Otherwise, you would be gone. When your purpose is done, you're gone. And by the way, we're all going to have to go. So in the timeline that I was describing earlier, from the time that you're born until the time that you die, life is going to happen, life will life. And we call that, I heard it on a podcast this morning, the dash. There's a dash, there's a line. You're going to grow up, you're going to go to school, you're going to get a boyfriend, you're going to break up, you're going to get married, you might get divorced, you might have a child, you might get sick, you might have all sorts of things going on, and then eventually you retire and die. It's a really sad story when you look at it like that. But what about all of the other stuff? What about this consciousness, this genius, this creativity, this need, this desire to do things with your life, to have things in your life? There's nothing wrong with that at all. I like nice things too, and I like to be successful, and I like to make money. And it doesn't mean because I'm spiritual that I shouldn't make money, because the more money I can make, the more I can help the world. But it's not the premise from which I live. The premise from which I live is to be of service, first to me, to fill my cup, to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do, because I can't give anybody what I have not got. And if I haven't filled my cup with what I need to do for me, I start to get resentful about giving it to everyone else because there's not enough to go around. So at that level of thinking, I use that word, that there is something out there that I've got to go and find, is the wrong way around. Because you already have it. You were born with a code, with a frequency, with a master plan, with a blueprint. You were born with that, and it will never leave you, ever, ever, ever. You may not sense that. You may cut yourself off of that, but it is there all the time. All the time. So now I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask you to put this in the chat box. Have you, at any time in your life, done something and got so busy and so immersed with it that you lost track of time, that you didn't realize how long it was taking you, but you were in your joy, you were in your bliss, and it was so beautiful? You just loved that time. I want you to type yes in the chat box if this has ever happened to you, even if it was momentarily, not for a long period of time. So let me see. Yes. Let's see. Anyone else? At any time in your life, from the time you were born as a child up until this moment, have you done something that you've so enjoyed and so loved and wished you could do more of that? Yes, some more people. Anyone else? Yes. Yes, that's all I need to see, a couple of yeses. Fantastic. Now I'm going to ask you this question. I want you to type in the chat box, yes, if you feel that there is a sense, a feeling that you have, an emotion that you have that you wish you could change. Your internal feeling, you wish you felt differently. I want you to type yes if you have that feeling. And this really isn't a no question. Let me take that back. Just yes. Right. So you have a feeling and you wish that it would change. This is what I want to offer you now. That feeling that you told me yes earlier, you've done something, you loved it so much, you were immersed in it, it took you time and you didn't even realize how much time it was taking you. That's the very thing I'm talking about. When you tapped into that divine wisdom of yours, that divine guidance inside of you, that's what was happening. And when you did it as a child, the only reason you're not experiencing it now is because you've got so serious about life that you've got to do this to get that. And that's what I started with. If I do this, I'll get that. A, B, C equals this. 1, 2, 3 equals that. And if I didn't get there, clearly it's me. I got it wrong. This is what I want to tell you. This is the thing that really shifted my life from the inside out in the most dramatic way. The way I am and who I am is not the way everybody else is. And that doesn't make me wrong. And the same for you. And all the books, I have got a library of books I've started to give them away. Are they helpful? Of course they are. You can go to Exclusive Books, you can get online, Take a Lot is even selling books now, and there are millions of books, self-help books. Some of us know them. The 5 a.m. Club, this one and that one, these steps, the 36 steps, the 5 reasons, all of those things. We all read them all the time. And then we wonder why it's not working for us. You know why? The person that wrote the book, that wisdom that they got for the thing that they achieved and the success that they had was for them. Can we find it helpful? Of course we can, but it's not specific to us. You have such a specific divine blueprint. And the things you want to do and the way you want to do them are unique to you. And so every time you think you've got to do them the way everyone else does them, and there could be wonderful, beautiful ways of doing things, but they're not your ways. And sometimes there's education that happens, but within that education, within that learning, within the knowledge that you take on, you have got your unique way of taking it on and your unique way of expressing it. And when we are removed from who we are, trying to be what everyone else expects us to be, wants us to be, would love us to be, we are cutting ourselves off from that divine blueprint that's always 24/7 trying to let us know that that's not the way. There's this way. And so we resist it and we push it away because surely it's this way. All these people that have done it before me, they've done it that way. So surely it's this way. Well, there might be certain elements that are the same, but I promise you, the most part of it, the biggest part of it is unique to you. I read a quote a long time ago, and I'm probably going to mess it up, and it was by Deepak Chopra. He said, there are no empty spaces. Everybody has a role to play in this world. If you're still alive and you're breathing, there's a role for you to play. And should you show up for you in the way you are, not according to anyone else, watch this space. That's when goals and dreams and desires become so evident for us. So this question I'm going to ask you, and it's going to be the last question I want to ask you. I want you to write in the chat box, are you doing what you love to do? It's yes or no. So go for it. In your daily life, every day that you wake up, are you doing something that you love to do? Are you going to a place you love to go to? Are you waking up and feeling excited about life? Let's see, go for it. All right, we've got some yeses, we've got a couple of no's, some more yeses coming through. So come on, I want to see 25 of those. Awesome, right?
Oh.
There we go. Okay, some no's and some yeses. I haven't counted them up sometimes. Okay, cool. That's a good one too. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm going to tell you a little story now, and then I'm going to open it up because really, the more questions you ask me, the better I'll be able to teach you what I know to teach you according to what this group needs. There's a collective consciousness. You've all shown up here today, and be bold, because if you've got a question, you can guarantee someone else has got a very similar question. And it's this. There's two stories actually. A couple of years ago, actually quite a few years ago, my husband and I were involved in a business, kind of like a network marketing. We all know what those are. And we were told by a friend that it was going to be amazing, that we should do this and this would happen and this would happen. And all the time in the years that we were involved, I'd say probably about 3 or 4 years, everything seemed to fall short. We were doing everything we were told, but we didn't get there. We got partially there, and then it became so hard. It was such a struggle for us. And eventually we gave it up. And that's when our lives changed. And what happened is something that I really had to reflect on. We were attempting to do what we were told to do by other people according to the way that they'd done it. And that was their wisdom for them. It wasn't for us. And today I can safely say, those of you that know me, those of you that are in my life, or those of you that have coached with me or have had evidence of me and my life, we have a beautiful life, my husband and I. We really, really do. I can say that conclusively. Does that mean that all our kids are fantastic and that everything's going well? Well, no. That's the truth. But we are okay with that. And the reason we're okay with that is because there's one thing that we understand, that life is happening for us every moment, not to us as a victim of life. So all of those experiences that we've ever had that didn't work out were vital for our own personal growth, were vital for us to show up in our own lives more according to who we are and not according to what the world expects of us. And that doesn't mean that we are super special. It just means that we're really, really human, but we have a spirituality, and it's a word people are uncomfortable with. I'm okay with that. I'm going to use it anyway. This divine intelligence, what people will call God, you can call it source, you can call it spirit. I don't mind what you call it. In fact, when I go into businesses and I meet corporate people, I say to them, you are leaving money on the table if you are not telling your people that they have this unbelievable power within them. And should they tap into this power, life will look different for them. And by the way, that feeling that you had as a child, this feeling that I'm talking about, is completely portable. It can go with you anywhere all the time. The feeling of being so in love with your life and with yourself, by the way, not so in love with yourself. I'm not talking ego, I'm better than anyone else, just with me and who I am. How do I give love to anyone else if I haven't got it for myself? You cannot give what you do not have. And so the moment you realize that you've got to fill your own cup first, and then there's this overflow and you can give from that space, you'll notice that your relationships start to change because you are authentic and you're real. And if you've got that, it means everyone else has got that too. How cool is that? We all have access. We are all drinking from the same well. All of us. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what your culture is, what your religion is, what experiences you had. We are all drinking from the same well. And when you know that and you live according to that, you're not worried about what other people think and say, because they're going to do that anyway. Have you noticed? People do and say what they want. We are all living in a very interesting country where people are doing lots of things that they like to do that we know are not fantastic, but they do them anyway. So now if we're worried about the way those people do them in power, if we keep worrying about that, does it make sense to you that you are constantly going to want that to change so you can be better? I've got news for you. It's never going to change in the way you'd like it. Why? Because there are these separate realities. The way they do it is the way they do it. Does it make it right? Hell no. But it's the way they do it. And they don't necessarily need to be in power. They just need to be people that you know. They're going to do what they know to do. But that is not wrong. There's a term called psychological innocence. People do what they know to do in the best way they know to do it. And when we point fingers at them and say that they're doing it wrong, what we are essentially saying is that their blueprint is faulty. How can that be? How can that be? It's not possible. And neither is yours. It is perfection. Who you are is perfect in this moment to forge and shape you, because you will be navigating a path that's in a place that you need to be in. And this divine, beautiful intelligence is constantly saying, not this way, dearie. I think you need to go there. Not this thing. I think you need to do that. Not this way. Not this way. There's a way for you, and it's perfect for you. For you. And so we have got all these other people in our lives. And I say this, and I'm going to say it a million times again. People say to me, you're so lucky. Your husband makes you so happy. And I'm like, no, my husband doesn't make me happy. And Beverly, I heard this from you. I make me happy. That he likes that I am is really, really cool, because he does the same. You are responsible for your own well-being, and your own happiness. And wow, what a different world we would live in if everybody got that at the core of their being. But it is there. And my promise to you is this: you are definitely not broken, and neither is anyone else. They're doing the best they know from their psychological innocence. Does that mean that you must accept everything and just be like a pushover and a walkover? No, that's not what I'm saying. Healthy boundaries are very, very important, and that's a conversation for another day. But you have to give them to yourself first. Where are your boundaries for you? Where is it that you are not giving what you need to you first, always giving to everyone else in the hope that they'll like you more? I've seen it in my own life. I try to do things, I used to, so that other people would like me more. And so I suspend who I am for fear that they won't, and then I'll end up getting resentful. So all the emotions and the feelings that you have, they don't come from the outside world. They come from within you. And that's why when I say create your amazing future from the inside out, it's that thing that I'm pointing to. You have the capacity to take from within you your own wisdom, to have this inner guidance that's there all the time, that never goes away, ever. No, never. And use that power to be who you want to be for yourself first, and then watch how things shape and form for you. So if you wrote in the chat box, no, you're not doing what you love, I want to read something to you, and it's this, because I think this is really going to make a difference. Let me just quickly find it. I wrote it down here somewhere. Okay, here we go. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask yourself, what makes you come alive? And go do that. Because what the world needs is people who come alive. How amazing is that? You don't have to go out there and do anything. Start with yourself first. And when you start with yourself first and you get that feeling, that one that I asked you about that you had as a child, doing the things that you love to do, it's amazing how everything starts to fit into place. And it also means, get this, that doing what you love allows you and frees you up to be so much calmer and so much more at peace, that you know the next step, because you're not noising yourself up every single day, overthinking, overanalyzing, overjudging, over-criticizing what the world is doing. You are doing it for you. You are feeling it, and you have an internal auto-correction system. How amazing is that? How do I know that? Because sometimes I feel really shitty, and sometimes I feel really wonderful. And if I have it, so do you. Because I'm just a regular human being, just like you. What I do know is when I'm not feeling great, there's some level of thinking that I've had that has created that feeling for me. Doesn't make it wrong. Again, it just makes me human at my core, but I can notice that. I can notice that there's a fork in the road. At some point, I can make a decision that I don't want to feel that way anymore. That's on me. It doesn't matter what my husband does. It doesn't matter what my community does. It doesn't matter what the government does. It doesn't matter what the weather's doing. I can feel good in the moment because it's built inside of me. And if I am calm and quiet in the moment and I'm feeling good, I know the indicator of my feeling is the way that I'm thinking. That's all it is. That's all it is. The way you feel is the barometer. It's helping you to understand what kind of thinking you had about the situation. And if you're not feeling fantastic, know. If you're not feeling good, understand. If you're feeling really low, it's because there was a level of thinking. And in your innocence, you thought that you had to worry about stuff. You thought that if you weren't worrying about stuff, things wouldn't happen. Has it worked? Has it worked to worry? Has it helped you to get it right? Being concerned about the way that other people are, has it helped you to be happier in your life? And I know if I ask you to type in the chat box, I know what you'll say, every single one of you. Me too. It would be no. Worrying about what other people do and the way that they do it is not going to help you be happier or be more successful or to create the life you want. So these are some practical things I want to give you, and they are so practical. I've never done this before, but this is what I've noticed. I took some time this week to see for myself, and I'm going to actually read them to you because it's so unusual for me to share this, but I've seen that when I feel good, my physical body, I do good. What does that mean? I need to move and I need to eat nutritious food. So when I'm not feeling good, that's the first place I go to. Have I moved today? And have I nourished my body? It's the first place, because when you feel good, you do good. Here's another one. Have I taken some time for me? Have I done something I love to do? Here's another one. Have I dealt with life in real time? What do I mean by that? As things happen, am I dealing with them, or am I waiting for a day to come where I can deal with them? You know what that does to you? It builds up over time, and you feel like a champagne bottle that wants to crack open because the pressure is so huge. As it happens, you deal with it. And I'm saying it in quite a strong way, but sometimes it's just deal with it. Do it now. Why are you waiting? If it's given to you in real time, why are you waiting for some time in the future to deal with it? It's now. And actually, all you have is now. Have you noticed the future never arrives? We're always now, this moment, now, this moment, now. So as life is happening now, you get this wonderful opportunity to deal with it now. Here's another one. Have I given myself some self-love? And I equate this also with self-care. Self-love and self-care, radical self-care, extreme self-love. That's how you get to do amazing things in your life, because you like yourself so much. You've got so much confidence to do it. You're not worried about what anyone else thinks about it. And so you show up in that way. Did any of you watch that movie where they built that field and they said, build the field and the people will come? What was that movie called? I loved that. Anyone know? Put it in the chat box. Remember, there were like a bunch of guys that died and they built this, was it a baseball court? And the guy that was alive that got this idea was being nudged by this divine wisdom. He's like, no, I'm just going to build it and they will come. That's what I did with my life and the Mindfit Academy. I had no idea who would come. Tonight, I had no idea who would arrive, but I trusted that the people that would were here to hear something that I would have to give them, not from me, but through me. Me getting out of my own way to hear the guidance that I have, and so have you. Here's another one. When I feel low, I remind myself that I've got an internal guidance system, and I temporarily forgot. Here's the truth of how that works. Do you know that when you are in fear, when you are struggling, when you are angry, when you are in any of those low moods, you get stupid? I'm serious. This is neuroscience. All the oxygen drains out of your neocortex, your frontal lobe, into your large extremities so you can run or fight or flight, adrenaline. And it suspends your thinking. Why is that? Because the survival of the species is so much more important than your dreams and goals and desires. You are designed to thrive. And that's why your body is perfectly designed. One of my mentors, Mavis, calls it divine engineering. Divine engineering. We are so well made to deal with life in real time. But we're very badly designed to deal with the future and the past. So badly designed. Because it's gone if it's in the past, and it hasn't arrived if it's in the future, but we have it now, 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 That's all we have. And if I get into those low moods, I know I haven't been present. I haven't been in the now. I've been in the past, or I've been into the future. And that creates all the suffering. I white knuckled through something. I thought I had to worry and be concerned. I did that to me. And so looking outside of myself and pointing fingers and saying, it's because they did and they haven't and they should and they shouldn't. No, I'm not in control of any of that. What freedom and liberation to know that I don't have to control anything. It's happening all by itself. And the same beautiful energy and intelligence, what people will call God, is doing all of that all of the time. And it's doing it for me, it's doing it for you, and it's doing it for everyone else. So I'm not in control and I'm not in charge. I just have to take care of this moment in time, and I will be guided. I find that the greatest freedom that I ever heard in my life, changed my life, helped me to create this academy, got me to up my coaching practice, helped me to meet the most incredible people and train coaches. Some of them are here tonight. Did I know how to do that? When I was going through all of my drama and shit, sorry to use the language, 26 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. No, I didn't know that. Now I can look back there and say, oh, I went through that for this reason. This thing was given to me, not to harm me or hurt me or to destroy me or to make me suffer, but to guide me and help me and shape me and forge me into the person I am today. Wow, how much gratitude for that. So the last one I want to talk about is gratitude. This beautiful, beautiful energy of being so alive in the moment, because gratitude can only happen in the moment. When you think about what it is you are or have, or the people or anything else, gratitude is an emotion, it's a feeling, and it's the exact opposite of fear. It's the exact opposite of fear. And I'm going to talk a little bit about fear. When you are grateful, even for those times that didn't work out well because it helped you to be who you are now, that has to be the most empowering thing you could ever do for yourself. Those of you that have heard my story, nearly 27 years ago, I went through hell. I had a thing happen in my life I literally wanted to take myself out of. Didn't want to be here anymore. I was overweight, I was sick, I was depressed, I was addicted, and I was suffering and struggling. Thank God I went through that. Was it comfortable? My word, no. It was horrible. But I see now that had I not been through that and multiple of other things, I would not be this person today. I would not be able to show up for you here today. I would not be in the present moment, not be in the space of tapping into this beautiful divine intelligence in this moment, confidently expressing myself. I used to be so scared of everything, There was a turning point. There was a tipping point where I thought to myself, oh my word, here I am. I would not be here if that thing hadn't have happened. As hard as it was. Life happening for us, not to us, moment by moment by moment. So I've got something I want to read to you, and I think I'm going to read it very quickly, and then I'm going to open it up, and I know we've not got a lot of time, but I'm hoping you've got some nuggets. And it's from a beautiful, beautiful book called It's That Simple. And it says, A User's Manual for Human Beings, written by one of my mentors, Mavis. She's an 83-year-old lady. And it's a letter that says, why worry doesn't work. Listen carefully, like you're listening to a piece of music. Listen. She says, worry is the learned habit of frightening ourselves with our own imagination. I'm going to say that again, slowly. Worry is the learned habit of frightening ourselves with our own imagination. Can I have a nod of heads if that resonates with you? Make sense? Cool. Listen more. Worry seems to be one of the world's most popular, useless habits. But I think we keep doing it for what we believe to be legitimate reasons. We think worrying is preventative. And what we say is, if I worry about all the possible disastrous outcomes, maybe they won't happen. Here's the truth. Worrying to prevent disaster works about as well as any other superstition, like not walking under ladders to avert bad luck. It's a superstition. Number 2, we worry because we think it's the same as caring, and we say, of course I worry about you, I love you. Here's the truth. Caring is based in wisdom and loving kindness. Worry is based in fear. I'm going to say that again. Caring is based in wisdom and loving kindness. Worry is based in fear. Number 3, we think worry is being responsible. We say, if I don't worry, it means it doesn't matter to me what happens. Here's the truth. Worry interferes with and limits our ability to respond. And I told you why. Because all the oxygen drains from your brain. Worry interferes with and limits our ability to respond. Here's a little exercise. Let's do this exercise together. I want you to do this. I want you to think of two columns. So draw a line in your imaginary column. Got a page, draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, you're going to answer this question. How do I feel and act when I'm worried? Think about on your left-hand column. How do you feel and act when you worry? Got that? On the right-hand side of your column, how do I feel and act when I'm not worried? Got that? Now take a look. What's your preference? I'm willing to guess it's the second column. Does it make sense that the less we worry, the more we might feel the way we'd like to feel? Does it make sense that worry might be optional? Isn't that good to know? Isn't that good to know? You have an option. There's a fork in the road. Then when you get to that fearful space, you can make a decision. Because that's what's in you, inside of you. And it always has been. So, if you have a burning question that you want to ask, please ask it. Because it might just be something that somebody else also has. Something that you want to ask me about, something that you want to point to, something that you want to share. I would love to hear from you. We've got some time for that question. So just raise your hand or raise your little digital hand and ask that question, or type it in the chat box if you don't want to speak up, and I will read that, and then we will take The Field of Dreams. Thank you, Denny. The Field of Dreams. That's the movie I was thinking about. You took the time to find it. Do you remember that? Who remembers that movie? It was, I don't know, maybe in the early 2000s. And the guy built this. Go watch it. It's such a cool movie. I haven't seen it in years. I think I might just try and find it again. Build it and they would come. That's what I did with this academy. Built it and they would come. And they did. Do a webinar. Say it and they will arrive. And they did. Same with you. Set it in motion. Say it with conviction. Do it. Any questions? Anything anybody wants to add? Yes, Kelly. Thank you. Please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Sharon, thank you for a wonderful talk as always. It's very rejuvenating to hear you speak, and thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I just wanted to find out, because my husband and I were actually talking about it before this call. And I mean, I've done the Awakening course recently, just so some of you can get some context. And I really loved it, and want to do the coaches course this year. But I'm finding it difficult. Like, for example, my husband, he's like a very busy businessman. He He's always on the go, always got things going on, always quite stressed. He's in that worker's like spinning wheel. And yeah, I just wanted to find out, Sharon, like for someone who's constantly busy and constantly moving and working and focused, and not someone who is really, he's present in the moment with work, but during his personal life, he is quite a stressor because he struggles to differentiate the two. So he is working on like having different caps for different things. But he just wanted to find out how, for someone like him, how do you get awake and how do you get open to it when you're in this constant wheel and you don't see how you can get out of it?
Awesome question. And I'm guessing there's so many people that have a similar one. So thank you, Kelly, for the question. I'm going to keep it as short as I possibly can. Number one, the idea that you can't get off the wheel is part of the problem. Thinking that you've got to be so busy and so immersed in what you know to be the thing that creates your money or your business is another part of the problem. So I'm going to give you another little add on, but I'm going to just go back and talk a little bit about what I've seen for myself. I am busy. I'm a very busy person. I am online most nights. I have my first client in the morning. I train twice a week at 6 a.m. and walk all the other days at 5:30. And when I get home, I'm constantly working, creating programs, teaching, and I've got a coaching academy. I'm busy. I've got a granddaughter who stays close by, and I'm an active person. What I have seen that's made the difference for me is when I feel overwhelmed, I have the capacity now, I didn't always have that, to take a moment and do something about it. And the first thing I know to do is to breathe. Now, that's the practical part of it, to breathe. And very often I'll take my dog for a little walk. Here's the thing that's happening for your husband and probably most people on this call. In the moment when they feel stressed, they're not stopping in that moment, and it literally can take milliseconds just to stop and say, wow, I'm feeling this way right now, and I don't need to. So the capacity to understand that you don't need to know that there's an option. And I just read that thing about worry. You have an option. It doesn't have to be that way. And here's the last part. It's just a habit. In your brain, there's a program. We are living from the programs that we have laid down for ourselves over time, and it becomes our default. So the way that we do life is just the same old way we did life. And I'm willing to guess if I have to have a private conversation with your husband, he's going to say to me, I don't know any other way to be. And he would be right. That would be the truth. Me too. Until you learn. And that's why on the awakening, what you discovered, Kelly, was that the habit of thinking that you had cultivated over time, and with the past that you had and the experience that you had spent so much time, we call it mental bandwidth, so much time in your head, worrying about what might happen, worrying about how it didn't happen, how it should be different. And so as we say we are present, we're present with a lot of noise. And it's the noise that makes us feel stressed. It's not the volume of work there is to do. Most of the time when I feel stressed, and I also get it, most of the time I have told myself that there's a lot going on. I tell myself that, and then I wonder why I'm struggling. And the moment I recognize that, I familiarize myself with the feeling of that stress, and I stop for that moment, everything starts to calm down. If you remember, this is what the information is for your husband. Built inside him and me and you and everyone else on this call is an autocorrection system. Like day goes to night, go out and the tides come in. It's built into him. It will autocorrect. The moment he recognizes that he's in that place and he stops for a moment, what happens within the body is that everything starts to calm down. And so now the mental bandwidth that was all busy, there's clarity. It's like a clear lake. If you throw a stone in the lake, there's these ripples that go out. You've disturbed the calm. I today am fiercely protective of my peace. So anything that takes me away from my peace, I'm like, no, I know what that feels like. So if I could summarize for you, it's a habit. There's a misunderstanding of the way that that works, the human psyche. And the last part is to be present in the moment means to stop right where he is in that moment. And it might take him just a few seconds for that autocorrect system to work. And you know that it works. You've had those moments. Everyone on this call has had those moments when you're like, whoa, stop the bus. I need to make a decision just in this moment. And that's why people reach for all of their habits, because in the moment you think the relief is going to come because you're drinking the wine, smoking the cigarette, taking the tablet, watching another thing, reading another book. It hooks you into the idea that your relief comes because you have done something outside of you. But the inside of you is the part of you that is the only place where you will find the calm and the peace and the wisdom and the right step to take. Now, I'm hoping that really was clear for you, Kelly. Does that sound like it's something you could convey to him?
Yes, definitely. But he is going to come to your Joburg event, so hopefully that will. I won't have to do any of the work, Shay. You can do it.
I love that. Thank you. I really look forward to meeting him. Thank you, Kelly. What a brilliant question you asked. You know, we are just on time, but if there's one, come on, put up your hand. We've got time. I can answer one more for you quickly before I go to my next webinar. Anybody, raise your hand, put it in the chat box, which I have now closed. Let me check that there isn't anything there. Wow, how does time fly when you're having fun? I have fun on these. I love these webinars. I just want to do them for free all the time. But sometimes my team tells me that I can't. But tonight I got away with it because they're all doing other things. They can't be here. And so I'm very happy to have done it. I just want to tell you, we have got an awakening that Kelly, thank you for mentioning that, Kelly. I didn't even think to talk about it. But the Awakening is a program. It runs for 10 weeks. And it's a 3-day immersive training that I do. And then for the next 10 weeks, you get videos and you get worksheets. And it's really all the stuff I'm talking about. It's a really beautiful program. We've been running it for 3 years. We've had lots of people go through it, all been changed. You know, their lives have changed. And I've got some of my coaches here tonight, Bev and Zanele and Sandy and Cheryl. I'm trying to think, Haley. Who else is here that's shown up? Thank you so much, guys. They've heard this stuff so many times. They must be so bored, but they still show up and they still give support. Love you guys for doing that. Thank you so much. And soon we're going to have a few more of you coaching. So thank you, thank you. Never bored. Thank you, Haley. I really am so grateful that you showed up here tonight. I hope there was something that just touched you at a level that it's going to help you to, you know, go and research, connect with me. If you're not on my mailing list and you want to get information, please will you send me a mail, or if you, whoever God, you know, told you to come here, if I've never met you before, get my number, connect with me on WhatsApp. Really what I want to do with this work and what my life's work is to just share these principles, because I know how it's changed my life, and I know how it's changed the lives of multiple people that have coached with me and have been on the Awakening and the coaches training. And it's available to any of you if you would like to know more. There's no obligation. This was just me wanting to spend time with you and giving my time for free. Thank you for being here. I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful night further. And thank you for your thanks and for responding in the chat box. And I hope to see you sometime in the future, somewhere, somehow, on the awakening, or just to chat to me or coach with me. So night, everybody, and go and have a lovely night. And I'm going to have dinner now too, which I know my husband's cooking for me. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Unmute yourselves and let's have a good, hearty goodbye from everybody. So unmute.
Goodbye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. You guys are so gorgeous that showed up here. These coaches. Oh, and Michelle, I didn't mention you as a coach. Oh, my bad. Because I don't
Hi,
see you
Steph.
often enough. Don't see you often enough.
Yeah, I can't unmute myself.
I can hear you. I can hear
Oh,
you.
can you?
Yes,
Hello, my
perfect.
darling. Happy New Year.
Same to you. And I'll see you in March. Coming to you in March. We need to talk.
Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll speak to you before then.
Yeah, let's do something lovely.
I
All right.
sent Dia a message yesterday telling her to enroll me, so I'll be seeing more of you.
Oh, awesome. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Love
Okay,
you.
bye. Love you too.
Bye. Ciao.